Yo.
Yo,
what's going on? Welcome back to episode 2, Below the Rim Podcast. I'm Jordan.
Avery Adamo.
Chaz.
Michael Riley.
Ryan Poyle.
And Andrew Hinkson.
Yo, Drew, I love the Blue Jays fit, bro. That's like, I love, and Ryan, I love the backwards hat. This is what's going on. I'm going to start. I'm bringing it back. We have Jazz Donda on the show again. Welcome back. Can we get a little round of applause?
Welcome back.
There we go. There.
DJ
I
Jazz.
see you were really catching me
But-
because I thought this was a link to something else.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad you accidentally hopped on the pod. It's good to see you again, and thank you for blessing us. Michael Riley. We were just telling you that we went to high school together. Do you guys still keep in touch with like old high school friends and college friends with all the college basketball going on? Do you guys have like group chats and sports like chats and all those things?
No, because all my friends are more successful than me being an actor and comedian right now.
That's classic.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm in it with a couple buddies, and there's always one buddy that you love to shit on. That's good to keep in the group chat as well.
What did you do? Game 1, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks. Where were you on that night, sir?
Yeah, and unfortunate ending to that night. But up until that point, you and me down the hatch, this bar in West Village, surrounded by a bunch of Knicks fans, enemy territory. I thought we had it for a second. Donovan Mitchell started to take over. We took the lead. I had about a minute of fun down there, and then the Knicks just ran away with it.
It's crazy because we were there. It was so fun. Like it felt like we were actually at the stadium. It was so
Great
fun.
atmosphere down there. Yeah.
Who do you guys got in that series? Knicks,
I have Cavs
Cavs.
in 7 now. I have Cavs in 7 still.
Cavs in 7.
Drew?
You know what? That's one of the series I'm having a hard time picking a winner. But if I did have like a gun to my head, I'd probably go with the Cleveland Cavaliers on that one too. They've had a better season. I feel like they have a little more depth, and they have the biggest superstar in Donovan Mitchell. So he's probably going to get most of the calls and get to the free throw line frequently.
So I just had a question for you guys because you're talking about basketball. Any of you guys see Air yet?
Not yet.
No.
I have not.
Okay, I won't
I've-
ruin it.
I've heard good things though.
Chris
But
Tucker.
it's amazing.
I have
Wow.
my brother seen it, and he said it was pretty good.
Michael
on.
Jordan is a background actor in it, but
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I heard
Spoiler
that.
alert, but that's good to know. That's
I
pretty dope.
seen an interview of Ben Affleck talking about it, and he was like, "I wasn't gonna cast anyone to be Michael Jordan because he's like, no one can be Michael Jordan other than Michael Jordan." Okay, which
funny.
is
There
a
you go.
fantastic thing to say. Ben Affleck goes up in my books for that.
Remember back in the day when you played the games like NBA Live or 2K, NBA
And I
Jam,
still do.
and Michael Jordan was like, he had no photo. Like that was the most legend shit ever, bro. Like that was Mike. Playing tournament has started. Memphis Grizzlies lost to the Lakers. Which series is the most exciting? We got the Sacramento and Warriors game tonight.
That's all
Who do you
I
got?
know.
Yeah.
I
posted on
think Sacramento the Sacramento and Golden State is the
MVP.
most fun series so far. I want to say the Kings are going to win. I mean, I have a hard time saying that against Golden State, but I mean, I'm going to go with the Kings to come out of it in like 6 or 7
are you
And
guys
then-
sports betting on these games?
sometimes.
I need to start. man. Yeah, I need to start betting.
I won. I won. I won. I won. Yeah, I won. I won. I won the money. I won the money. Did you hear me? I said I won.
Can we talk about that? What's the biggest bet that you've won? If you can, when I was in Vegas, Haley and we were in Vegas. One of the funnest times of my life. I think that's probably the most I won. It was probably like a couple hundred. I just never been like a big gambler. So, but I know some people that have won some pretty loot, which is crazy. So I don't know. What's the most you guys ever won?
I'll tell you what, I've never really been a big gambler on sports events. I think I know a little too much about sports to actually bet on them because it's a very unpredictable way to make a living. But I have played in a lot of big poker tournaments, a lot of big cash games as well. The most I've ever won on one single hand of poker has been about $1,200.
Whoa.
Poker's
Yeah.
a sport now, though.
Exactly. So
True.
I'm going to count that.
I would say my
That's a good one.
the biggest sports bet win would probably be low 5 figures.
What?
That's good.
Yeah.
Mike comes in hot.
You just said it and you just dropped it again like mic drop.
Okay, wait.
You know, hey, that's the new segment for season 2. This is called mic drop. Mic drop.
I'm coming in. I'm coming in bigger. Like not last year, the year before. Me and my buddy made a bet, and then it was for if Toronto would make the playoffs or not. So maybe it wasn't. Was last year did Toronto make the playoffs?
You talking about hockey or basketball?
Yeah.
Raptors.
Oh yeah.
I think they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then it was year before. Whatever year they didn't make it, we bet on if they would make it to the playoffs or not. I won the bet, and I got a case of beer.
Was it not the bubble year? The COVID bubble year? I think they didn't make it.
Yeah,
The year
I
that
think
they
you're
were
right.
playing in Tampa.
Over year.
Yeah.
I've been to my first hockey game because, like, I'm one of those people like whose parents never could afford tickets. So I got tickets to a hockey game, and when I got there, there was no announcements. Nobody was talking about the hockey game. It was like, what is going on right now?
What do you mean? What do you mean? It like the game was canceled or
you know how like when you're watching a game, there's an announcer that tells you what's going on in the game. He shoots right, he shoots left, and he scores, right?
Right.
Yeah,
that was great.
You're actually at the hockey game. That doesn't actually happen, nor at the basketball.
Yeah.
Jazz, I'm gonna put you on the spot right now because Ryan said he likes to be like improv, be put on the spot. So last time, Drew and Ryan, they did an amazing Bill Belichick and Tom Brady like a scene. And Jazz, I want to ask you to give Ryan a scene, but you have to act in the scene, but it has to be sports related. Go ahead.
You're gonna play the shoe guy who designs the shoe that I want designed for Michael Jordan.
All right, so am I Ben Affleck? Is that the guy that's? I guess I.
And I want who's gonna play Ben Affleck, where you're the boss who thinks I'm absolutely crazy.
It's got to be Drew.
Okay, ready? Hey, Mike, I need you to design me a shoe.
Kind of like a Converse spin on it, right? Something nice, something flexible, stability for the ankles.
Nah, something just for Michael, man. Like something that's never been done. I'm giving you permission to do something that's never been done in the history of shoes.
Something that's never been done. Okay, so maybe put 2 shoes in one. What are you thinking here?
Let's see what Drew's got to say about that. Drew, we got your permission to spend an extra, $150,000 to design a brand new shoe for a new player?
Are you crazy? I'm losing my mind here. How do you think I'm going to come up with that kind of money and put behind a product that's never been proven or tested?
Because we got the greatest player that's ever going to exist in the history, and I can guarantee you that he's going to literally take over and be a legend. So we need a shoe that's a legend for a legend. We can't just sell him on the shoe. We also got to pay him.
And his mama. And his daddy.
Mom.
Beautiful. Welcome back.
Sorry.
No, it's great.
All right, and welcome back.
There we go. Right. Mike, I want to come to you first, real quick. Andrew Wiggins came back. He did a press conference with Bob Myers. I don't know. What do you think? Did you see it? Did you see his body language? Like, there was like
I didn't see any of it.
Damn it, Mike! Can you make it up? Can you? All right, here.
Bring it back.
Take 2. All right, here we go.
Roll sound. Take 2.
Mike, I want to come to you. Did you see the Giannis? Okay, the Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
There we go.
Some
Antetokounmpo.
respect on my name.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. My apologies. The report where in 2020 he was thinking of retiring. Peak of his career. Thoughts?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first athlete to do that. I mean, basketball's a little less aggressive than football, but if you go back to Andrew Luck, 5 years ago now, in the prime of his career, that's it. Didn't want to get hit anymore and just retired. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the guy came from nothing. He's been able to build his brand up, make a lot of money for his family. His brothers are in the NBA, won a championship. It's kind of like, well, maybe he wants to move on to do something else in his life.
He said
your dad would be proud, though.
Question:
Right,
If
yeah.
Giannis retired, say after these playoffs, they didn't win a championship, where do you guys have him in the all-time ranks?
All-time power forwards or players?
All-time rank.
Jeez.
Top 100, bottoms like lower half, I would say.
I'd put him in top 20.
Top 20 all time if he just retired this year.
How many years Giannis in the league for? Like, I don't even think he's been in the league for 10 years yet.
Yeah,
And he already has ring, and he's constantly in the
MVP.
Ryan.
He has
Ring.
one MVP, one ring. So who are we comparing him to? Bill Walton?
Paul Pierce.
Stop.
He wouldn't even be close to Paul Pierce on the all-time scoring all-time scoring list. So if he retired tomorrow, is he a top 100 player?
I think so.
I think he's top 100.
I think so because he's changed
is he top
the game.
10 power forward?
No.
Stop. Yes.
If he retires right now.
If he retired tomorrow, is he a top 10 power forward?
He has a ring. Like I mean, I get it. It's
the eye test for me says he's definitely top 10 power forwards.
Yeah,
Right,
on a skill level, but we're not rating the skill. How they usually rate the like all-time list is usually like on a career basis.
Right.
If you're rating Giannis's whole career right now, he has one ring, one MVP. I'm not saying he's by no means no scrub. Giannis is a beast, but I don't know if that puts him on the like all-time greats list. He's not better. You wouldn't rank him higher than Duncan. You wouldn't rank him higher than
Dirk,
KG, Dirk,
Chris Webber,
Karl Malone,
maybe Chris Webber.
He just needs more time in the league.
Not higher than Karl Malone.
He just needs more time in the league.
Sean Kemp.
Yeah, he's higher than Sean Kemp.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jazz, you're not like a obviously you don't watch like NBA.
No, I'm not
like
a sports junkie, if that's what you're asking.
right. But from your point of view, from where you are in with your understanding of the NBA or NFL or anything like that, we're talking about the NBA right now. Who do you think is the next face of the league? It's been LeBron. It's been Steph Curry. From your point of view, like who do you hear about from the amount that you know about sports? Who do you think is going to be the next face of the league in NBA?
I'm a big believer that there's no I in team, to be honest. And I feel like we put all of these athletes on pedestals on a team instead of actually acknowledging the teamwork that goes into it and the coach. And I know it's like our society's thing to like give out awards and celebrate one person and really like bump them up. But it's a team effort at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, when they're in the locker room, it's not about just one player. And so I don't know who the next great is, but the greats inspire other people. But at the end of the day, it's a team effort. Teams out like Lakers will stand out versus the Bulls. And that's why they've won more championships.
Wow. Great answer. Great answer.
So there's no I in team, and we got to stop putting these players on pedestals because there's always going to be an ego thing. And we're very lucky that Michael Jordan, as well as LeBron, these guys were humble enough to still be part of a team and not want to be in the limelight. We put them in the limelight, and that's where it's wrong, right? Like we're trying to these players are always going to feel like defeatist. Like, I won't be ever as good as LeBron. Like, LeBron is LeBron. Like, I'm never going to be as good. People forget about Vince Carter. Like, it's about a team. And it's not just one player. And I feel like when we
What do you say about the people that want to capitalize on that entertainment and be like, we want to see the people that are going to bring in those views, that are going to, fill up down in the Hatch bar, what do you think about that part of it? Because, sometimes those players don't bring in that draw.
I think that we've gone too far as a society. When sports first started, it was about the sports. It was about the joy of a sport. And
Jamal said that last pod. That's crazy.
Right? Like, it's about coming out to see a game with the family and supporting a team and watching the love of and joy of a game, not the love and joy of one celebrity star that they're trying to capitalize on. And I really feel like if we stop paying people based on just their star name and the value they bring and just pay the team and they split the fee and everyone gets paid equally, that would be cool. But I feel like certain players are just way overpaid, and some of that money should be going to helping like kids who can't afford those sports in those certain neighborhoods that could be the next generational teams to come, right? That's where the money should be going, from the politicians as well as the people and the sponsors. Put the money of the game for the love of the game back in the community.
The NBA does a great job of that, basketball without borders and NBA cares. So they do make these efforts, and
But
they
it's
do have
neglected.
These athletes overpaid.
No, but
Yeah.
it's neglected in games where parents can't afford to put their kids in hockey or sports like figure skating. Those are like rich people sports.
Yeah, you know whose fault that is? Steph Curry's fault. That's whose, guys.
Ryan, I want to come to you real quick. Westbrook was leaving the court halftime, the Phoenix game, got into an altercation with the fan. I said this in one of the previous pods. Do you think this is getting out of hand now, where they are kind of digging deep? Westbrook, like going, trying to disrespect his name and stuff like that. What are your?
It is getting pretty disrespectful, but at the same time, there's a fine line, between disrespect and a good old fashioned chirp. I think that Westbrook did take it a little far personally, but at the same time, I'm all for, maybe once a year, one person on your team should be able to fight a fan. And
Wow.
one team can use it one time.
Wow.
First,
You heard it here first.
That's
Below
one
the
of the-
rim pod.
that's one of the
Run our
best
test
takes.
clause.
Yeah, that's one of the best
one
takes
time,
ever.
because and think about this, you're probably going to go to more games after they got that fight out of the way.
Right,
But
and
if-
it was kind of what Jamal was saying, where it's like if or the fan can control the owner and getting like their schedule and you know what I mean. So
I think
What-
I could take Matthew Dellavedova in a fight.
you're
Give me
hilarious.
Matthew Dellavedova.
You are. How
I
tall
love
is
that
Matthew
idea.
Dellavedova? That's
I don't know, man. He's what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Ryan.
I can take Matthew Dellavedova.
That'd be a
Give
good
me
spot.
Matthew Dellavedova all day. I'll
Ryan. I want to
beat the
stay with
shit out
you
of
quick.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Well, okay. Can we get our people on? Get in that fight with Matthew. I don't know how to say.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
it. I could
That's
do it.
It is hot in this.
I got a
it's
Muay
getting
Thai
hot in New
win.
York.
I can
There we
take
go.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Ryan, I want to stay with you real quick. Just rapid fire real quick. What are your thoughts on Zion saying, I understand the magnitude of these games coming up, and I don't want to be out there hesitating or doing something that affected them in a bad way. They're out. New Orleans is out. But how do you this dude just got drafted. He hasn't played a full season. I think you were telling me the other night that he's missed more games than he's played.
He's just still has
Psychology
the training
behind
wheels.
that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got the training wheels on him still. Let him be the Corvette that he is. Yeah, he might be out of shape. Yeah, he might not be back in it, but you have to game plan for a guy like that. Someone explosive, someone as dynamic as Zion Williams. He's going to be there for the fans. The fans are going to love the atmosphere. It's only going to contribute to have him out there. It's just so I'm getting sick of it a little bit, but I guess if he is hurt, you really can't force him to come back. I want him out there. I think everybody's so eager to see him play at this point that he's going to catch some slack.
Mike?
I mean, I agree. If he's on the court, you plan for him, whether or not he's 100% or 45%. But I think he needs to realize he needs to play. You're not gonna look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons got in his head so much that he hasn't played 2 years now. You need to just get back out there. I mean, the best way to get back into shape is to get back in the game. And I understand, you don't want to be the reason your team loses, but at the same time, you're the reason the team's paying you all this money to be there. You're their star player.
So, Drew, what are your thoughts? Same question on Zion.
Listen, man, I just got to say I'm a little disappointed. I was one of the people that rode hard for Zion coming out of Duke. I remember his first game. I was all excited watching at my buddy's house, and a couple people were there saying that they thought he was overrated from day one. And I went to bat for Zion, man. I was defending him because he's so exciting. But, him like bursting out of his own sneakers at Duke should have been a sign that the guy's too heavy. And everyone told him he's too heavy and his knees aren't going to last. And he hasn't taken it upon himself to dedicate himself to fitness. So even the hamstring injury he's dealing with right now, a lot of injuries when it comes to hamstrings and the groin is usually being out of shape. Those kind of injuries, they stem from being in the best condition. So he has only himself to blame. And I really hope he finds it somewhere in himself to dedicate to a better fitness regimen. That's all I can say about that.
I think that it's mainly there's different types of people in the league. There's certain guys that are gym rats that are like there's LeBron who people hear that he's like spending it's like $1 million, $2 million on the off season just to stay healthy. And then there's other guys like James Harden who you just hear about like kind of partying the entire time. So I think that it matters who these types of guys are. Like some people I think are taking advantage of the off season to try and get healthier and get in shape. And then there's guys that are kind of taking advantage of the off season to chill out. And to be fair, these guys should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. Like if they made it to the NBA, they made their contract. If you want to make a big contract off your one contract and get booted from the league, you leave with $100 million. So whatever, these guys could do what they want to do.
Facts on fair facts, man.
I'm not hating is my point.
So I wonder if athletes who lose the love of the game and it's just for the money to show up and not even put in the work anymore and drink beers on the side and have your girls on the side and show up to the game for the paycheck, like how is anyone going to really respect you?
Well, that's why they're putting in these like implementations of you got to play 65 games to, be even considered for an award. And I'm sure they're going to start putting in more incentives and bonuses or stipulations where if they don't play, they don't get full pay. Avery, question to you. I know you got the Wi-Fi issue, but same question. Go ahead. Wow.
Wow.
Look at the depths there.
That is crazy.
He's locked in.
That is insanity.
Pretending.
If I don't see the Maple Leaf players looking like that tomorrow, I will be very disappointed. That's the kind of look in their eye I demand.
Wow. Wonderful. Stay on target. Hey, Drew, what does stay on target mean? And just give us a background and why you say that, just a segue while we're waiting for Avery to hop back on.
You know where that really came from, man? It's like my mother has like 1,000,001 analogies and just little sayings that she puts around life. You know what I mean? And someone one day was asking me how I would describe my acting career and what it takes to kind of make it as an actor. What do you have to do to be successful as an actor? And I can honestly say there probably isn't like a what do you call it? Like a book step by step to tell you how to do it. Everyone's probably going to have their own path. But one of the things I realize that does work well in anything that you're doing in life, if someone is trying to chop down a tree, I always tell them the best way to do it is not to chop up and down the tree, but to keep hitting it in the same spot over and over again, and you'll get the best results. So for me, just kind of sticking to the plan and staying on target is what that means for myself. Kind of sticking to my goals and knowing what it takes to make it.
You brought up a point, and my mom, my dad are the same way.
Yeah.
Ryan,
West
the other day,
Indian,
you said,
you know what I mean?
hey, right? Ryan, you said your mom watches the pod. Can you give her a quick shout out? Just so can you give her a quick shout out? She got us a good guest. I don't know if we could talk about who we have in the pipeline.
I don't want to get anybody too excited. He's a football coach. I'll say that. So maybe down the way.
We got Belichick.
But definitely shout out to
Phil.
Beyonce's mom, Lisa.
Also, Jazz, I just wanted to tell you that my mom, you're her favorite character. She said, gotta keep bringing Jazz back. So again, shout outs to all the viewers.
Your mom called me an encyclopedia.
Yes. All the viewers of Below the Rim podcast, we want to thank you for watching. We got some guests coming on and some new co-hosts and guest hosts, and we're really excited. So what are your thoughts on MMA right now? There was a big fight, switching over to that.
The Izzy fight.
Y'all were texting in the group like crazy.
Anyone watch the Izzy fight?
Listen,
I just saw the highlights.
Just the highlights, yeah.
I was in the back of an Uber. We saw the knockout on Twitter. Went nuts.
Sorry. Okay, so
Go again, Jess.
So similar to MMA in India, we have something called kabaddi. It's like MMA, but it's like a circle of guys that huddle around. They're usually topless and they've oiled themselves up with like mustard seed oil. And like they have to like touch. I can't even say it without like sounding like they have to like touch the other person, kind of like in like a sumo circle, and like grab each other on and like kind of like wrestle each other. But they're all oiled up, and it's like whoever can hold on to the other person and grapple them. It's kind of like that. It's called kabaddi. Just look it up. I'm making it sound very, very wrong.
Oh man, that was the best shit
anyway.
out there.
So that Jamal, shout outs to Jamal in Jamaica right now. Once again, have a great time editing this, or Franklin might be editing this. So, but Franklin, you want to hop on and talk about the Izzy fight?
Below the Rim podcast, you know what it is right now. It's your boy Franklin with the MMA update. All right, so for the MMA update today, I hope you guys watched the Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira fight. That fight was absolutely crazy. That was their fourth fight between the two of them. They had 2 in kickboxing previously, and then they had 1 fight in UFC so far. If you watch their 2 kickboxing matches, I think Adesanya won the first fight. It went to a decision. Decision is in the judge's hands. You never really want to leave a fight in the judge's hands because you never know what's going to happen. So I think Israel Adesanya won the first fight. The second fight, I think he was winning the fight until the moment he got knocked out. Fortunately, it's a knockout. So you lose the fight. You don't get to win 2 rounds before that and just lose the last round. You got knocked out, the fight is over. If you watch the third fight between them, which is their first fight in the UFC, you'll see at the end of the first round, he's watching how he almost knocks out Pereira, and he's like, I got him. He's like, I got him. I know exactly what I need to do. This weekend coming up, we got Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades will win if he wrestles enough. If they're standing up on their feet, it's anyone's fight. And I'll probably give it to Pavlovich as he's the more volume striker out of the 2 of them. The weekend that just passed, we had Arnold Allen fight Max Holloway. The Canadian Max Holloway got the job done. He has the most significant strikes absorbed to his head in UFC history, and he's never been knocked down. It was a great fight. They were swinging right up until the bell. And that's Franklin with your MMA update.
I actually thought Izzy was gonna lose. Going into the fight, I had Izzy just because I wanted Izzy to win. And who was he fighting? Pereira. I couldn't care less for the other guy, so I was going for Izzy. But watching the fight, me and my buddies were like, "This looks like the Rocky fight where he's fighting the Russian, and it's just like just getting dusted, and he shouldn't be in there." And then all of a sudden, Izzy just gave him the greatest shit kicking of his life and knocked him out. It was actually a great knockout. Like, Izzy, I think, is one of the more underrated fighters in the UFC right now. Even though like people talk about him a lot, I think he's still an underrated fighter.
I have a question. How many of you watched the women's hockey game?
I did not.
International hockey game?
The Canada-US game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I know
That was
Beautiful segue. NHL update, hockey update. Put the graphic in. Go. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Go.
Yeah, Mike's looking at me like, dude, you're so.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, please. Continue. please.
I do want to say, just quickly to Avery, I have never heard anyone say that Adesanya is underrated.
What, man? Maybe it's just from like my buddies that watch UFC all the time, but I feel like people shit talk Izzy, and from the fights that I've seen, Izzy's impressive. He does crazy shit all the time. He gets crazy knockouts.
I agree. No, I don't listen to. I'm not a huge MMA guy, but I do listen to the odd UFC podcast, and everyone I hear talk about UFC is a big Izzy fan. So it was interesting you said he's underrated because I've never heard.
This is just from hearing people shit talk Izzy, and it seems like an unnecessary slight on the guy. Like, I hear people cuss out Paddy Pimblett quite a bit too, and like there's at least reasons to cuss him out. I don't see the reasons to cuss Izzy out.
No, I don't either. I think he's one of the best.
Out at games, I feel like if you train as hard as you did for that game, you put in the hours and the sweat and the tears, and you show up and to fight, rather if it's the NHL, the NFL, or whatever league you're in. You put the sweat, hard work, tears to be there. You deserve to be acknowledged, not to be shat on by commentators or anybody. You know, I feel like fans can be really hard fans are lazy. They just show up to watch for these guys who put in hours of work to sculpt their bodies.
I had a friend actually ask me today, do you guys think if you were in any sport, whatever it is, like if you're an NHL player, a football player, whatever it is, how would you take criticism just as you're playing, like people yelling at you on the sideline?
Right? Imagine if all of us were playing a soccer game tomorrow. Who would be yelling at us and like hating on us as like criticizing us?
I said if it's not personal, it should be a big deal. Like if someone's just saying you suck as a player, that should be fair. You're playing a sport. People talk shit. But if someone's like, yo man, you're like I had sex with your mother last night, then it's like, come on, bro. this unnecessary.
Yeah, those fans in Indiana said something about LeBron or Bronny, about an accident or something. So, and that's why he had them removed. I could only imagine like the stuff that they've heard. And again, bringing it back to what Westbrook had going on in the last game with Phoenix. These fans are getting crazy because they know so much about the player that they just can find what they want and poke at it. But defensive player of the year went to Jaron Collins, or is it Jaron Jackson?
Jaron Jackson Jr.
They announced the awards.
Let's edit that out. The defensive player of the year went to Jaron Jackson Jr. What are your award predictions? What?
The Black Panther.
Yes, the Black Panther. Yes.
Okay, so did they only announce that, or did they announce all of them?
No, just that one.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah.
This is new. Congrats.
Yeah.
It came out before like hour or two ago.
And we had some awards predictions. Are they the same? Yeah, are they the same?
I don't know if I had Jaron Jackson Jr. I think maybe. I think I might have went with the panel, and most of us had Brooke Lopez.
I know Drew had Brooke Lopez. I know that for sure.
I think a lot of us had Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, I had Mobley, who got absolutely dominated.
Yeah,
Bill Simmons had Mobley.
I have a question for you guys. What if it was mandatory that you had to play the game for 2 years and you couldn't get paid your salary until like 4 years later? Would you still do it for the love of the game? Or
That's called college. That's called college sports down here, Jazz.
Okay, yeah. They get paid.
Yeah, I would say no, especially if I'm like an actual star of the game that like I'm making this team make money. Fuck that shit. Like if I'm somebody who's like a bum bench warmer and it's like I'm in the NBA, yeah, sure. Maybe not 2 years, but I would agree to not get paid for volunteer NBA work. I would agree with. I think.
Okay, second question. This is happening in the Olympics already, where if you change your gender, you can now qualify if you're a man who becomes a woman, try out in the women's side of things. And if you're a woman and you become a man, you can do the men stuff. Do you think that's going to happen in sports? Maybe
it's already happening.
I think that's what I've been saying this for a long time. This is what the WNBA needs. They need to bring back the Joanna Man thing. And if J.R. Smith puts on a wig, J.R. Smith is averaging 40 points per game in the WNBA, okay? You would see the craziest shit of all time from J.R. Smith.
Do you think
I stand by.
Instead?
Sorry, say that again?
Start a new league for that side of sports where it's men and women.
No.
I can't remember. Somebody did make that recommendation where they said like transgender people will have their own league, and then there's a women's league, and then there's a man's league.
Yeah,
if the WNBA wants to make money, they need to let trans people in the league, okay? J.R. Smith would destroy the WNBA. Would absolutely dust the whole league. Michael Jordan now, with a wig on, would destroy the whole league.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
I think it needs to be a separate thing.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't. You can't start bringing men into like a woman's sport. It just doesn't. It doesn't translate.
Yeah, imagine getting tackled by a man or trans person. Imagine getting tackled.
Right.
Person on a no.
It's not. It's not. And if you even go to like other like Olympic sports, like sprinting or something like that, like it's drastic. The body type of a man to a female is just drastically different.
Come on, Ryan. I know you're with me. Come on.
So I don't think you're seeing it in the NCAA with that female swimmer.
Come on, J.R. Smith in the WNBA, Ryan.
I'm a
You know you
Juana
wanna
man.
see it.
I'm a Juana man fan, and don't get me wrong, that would be very. I mean, just the thought of that is entertaining. I can't allow that to happen, man. I'm not with you.
You'd kick my
Oh, man.
I don't think I'm not. Men and women in the same sport. No.
I'm bringing back
Enough
Joanna,
for me.
man, guys.
That's crazy. All right, but Drew, do you want to give a quick NHL update while we got you?
Do.
I'll tell you what, man. Dude, for me, this is like the day before Christmas. It's going to be hard to sleep tonight. It's the first time in maybe 4 years that the Leafs are going into round one, actually the favorite. I do have a lot of faith that the President's Trophy jinx is still going to work, and we might not even have to worry about Boston in the second round. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Connor McDavid navigates his way to the Western Conference also. So tomorrow night's game one in Toronto, man. It's going to be a big buzz in the city. We're looking forward to it, and we're hoping the Leafs can win their first round in 19 years.
You know what the craziest stat is? You just said we haven't won a first-round series in 19 years. Now that the Penguins didn't make the playoffs, us in Tampa have the longest playoff streak in the NHL right now.
That's
Interesting.
right.
Wow.
That's right.
Toronto.
Six
Doing
straight years.
something
Toronto and Tampa.
We'll finally win the Stanley Cup. Bring it home.
There you go.
We always get to the
Killing it.
dance. You know, we just very rarely get to dance with the pretty lady, but we're always in the party.
What was Bruins? What was their record to finish the season?
Boston's
Yeah,
65,
They
12,
got the
and
best
5.
record in the history of the league, man.
they Golden State Warrior the league.
They did.
NHL.
And you
Wow.
remember what happened to the Warriors the year they won, right? The
Yeah.
Warriors used
I'll
to
never
be trying
forget.
to get that record in the regular season, and they gassed out. So there's a lot of positive things to look forward to here in the playoffs. It's going to be great. There's
Cleveland
also a
came
big
back
battle in New
3-1.
York, right? New Jersey against the Rangers.
What do you
I don't
think
know if
is
you
the
know that.
hardest
Rangers are playing
city?
New Jersey.
The hardest city to play sports in? Do you think it's New York? Do you think it's
New
like
India.
India. He said
We don't have
city.
electricity. The snow would just melt.
He said city one. And
Just
we're not
general
talking
sports.
about greased up naked Indian guys wrestling, okay?
Mustard seed oil.
That
No,
would be
seriously.
tough.
Getting a hockey team so that they can eventually play against maybe Russia or Toronto one day.
Yeah.
There you go. There you have it.
When Toronto wins Stanley Cup, maybe.
I met a guy in Thailand who told me he was on the national basketball team for India. And I was like, for India? I was like, bro. I was like, I if there's a net anywhere here, I was like, I promise you I'll give you buckets all night, okay?
Avery's ready to challenge anybody, man.
I know. He's playing basketball. Fighting dudes. It's
Right. You know?
fucking play 101.
That's great. All right, Rook, this question just came to me right now. If you had to get in the ring, life or death situation, you had to get in the ring with any like athlete to do like a celebrity boxing match, who would you get in the ring with?
Like player or like just what sport would they be in?
Yeah, any sport?
Anybody. A hated athlete, somebody.
I would definitely fight a soccer player.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you got any sport, like, or even badminton.
No, they got quick hands.
Cricket. I would fight with anybody who's done cricket because they can't really keep up. They just
Maybe
gotta
a
run from
swimmer?
one end to the other.
The most hated sports player of all time.
Bowling.
Oh.
No, lacrosse. Who
The way they
likes
bowl, they
lacrosse?
have like that's funny.
You'll just get a severe slap.
Lacrosse is actually the main sport of Canada. That's actually the national sport.
Have
It's
you
not
been to one of
National
those?
sport.
Also very violent. I
national
played
sport.
for years.
Oh yeah, are you serious?
Yeah, I played when I was like grade school.
Yeah,
Okay.
so did I.
Yeah,
It's fun to play
super
lacrosse.
violent sport.
Mike, you remember we played handball? and
Yes.
we had about 20 dudes deep playing on one wall in high school.
Small wall too. It's like we didn't have any room.
Crazy. Ryan,
So
you
it's
said
like the scene out of American Me, then, right?
you said
20 dudes deep in handball.
football is like in your blood. What does that mean, being American? Because we talked about this, the difference, like just being American and the importance of football and how it's passed down. Can you tell us a little about that and the importance of like why sports is like so important out here?
And who'd you vote for?
Yeah.
We do not get political on Below the Rim Podcast.
Yeah. No, American football is the staple down here. I mean, we had the early episodes during the Super Bowl. Shout out to all the OG Below the Rim podcast fans out there. They'll remember those days. But my father never saw a Browns championship. We have the second longest running streak in all of sports, with most consecutive games played without a Super Bowl. Playoff games, that is, without a Super Bowl. It just means so much to us that, coming back from 3-1 against the Warriors probably is the greatest NBA championship feat to come back like that. But that would pale in comparison if the Browns won. You guys probably don't know what the Cuyahoga River is, but if the Browns win, the Cuyahoga River will be lit on fire again, as it was back in the early days of Cleveland. So I would fear for that Cuyahoga River, if I'm being honest.
No, there's a famous Hollywood film about the Browns University in football and how much it means to you guys in your state down there.
It's everything. It's blue collar. It's Die Hard.
I don't remember the name of the film, but it's like an iconic film.
I'll bring you to the tailgate one of these times. Hopefully we play the Jets here in New York. That'd be great to see.
I still need to go to a football game.
And
I'm
we
really
know.
curious who you guys think, man. Like, to be a Browns fan, it sounds a lot similar to being a Leafs fan. So if you guys, who do you think is going to win a championship first, man? The Cleveland Browns.
I think it's worse to be a Browns fan.
That might be the
Maple Leafs.
True. You know what? I'll take you up on any type of bet on that.
Yeah.
You know, that is.
I know, right?
Ooh.
We might not get the payout on that one for 100 years, for God's sake.
I was gonna say that's got to be grandfathered onto our kids. They'll keep that bet running.
Yeah.
Did you guys play sports when you were growing up?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I was like this close for making the NBA, man.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious.
Why can't I believe you? Come on.
I had an injury like grade 10. It really fucked up the process. I was on the Joel path, and then I went on like the Kwame Brown path, and
That's so funny.
It really just ruined my NBA potential. Now I'm thinking if there's like a league and like Dwight's in where's Dwight right now? He's in
China?
No, he's not in China. He's in
Shanghai. Isn't he Shanghai?
Yeah, it's Shanghai.
Really? I didn't think he was playing in China right now. I thought.
And DeMarcus Cousins is playing in where is he playing right now? Is he?
The Taiwan League.
There you go. Yeah, the Taiwan.
DeMarcus Cousins in Mexico. So yeah, I could maybe make a league in some
Dwight
random
Howard.
country. Make a league in Thailand. That's doable.
I played a little bit of soccer in college, Jazz. That's about it.
Ryan, what university did you go to?
So I went to University of Findlay and then finished up at Cleveland State. What about you, Drew?
I actually ran track and field for my high school, and I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to Southern Illinois. I spent some years down in Carbondale, Illinois, running down there. I was happy to get back to Canada.
Midwest. That's really the heart of the Midwest. Nothing going on out there, if I do recall.
It was real close to St. Louis, Missouri, but Carbondale, Illinois is not the most exciting city. It's definitely a college town.
I played ball. I played basketball. I played volleyball. I played every sport. Like I was good at every sport. But basketball and volleyball, I really excelled in. But basketball was like the thing that could have. But then I became an actor.
We got to get a below the rim game going between all of us.
We have to. We have to for sure.
Jazz, you went on the 3-on-3.
I never played sports as a kid. My parents were like,
that's crazy.
They're like, you're huffing.
Jazz, you're not on my team.
Shout outs to Jamal again in Jamaica. Shout outs to Franklin in the cut.
Well,
oh wow. So Franklin just said me, Jordan, and Jamal versus you 5. Okay, so 3 versus 5. There.
Help me out. I'll just be the coach.
That's so funny. Okay, question before we get into our final thoughts. Favorite podcast? And you can say Below the Rim podcast because that's my favorite podcast. But just for other people to kind of, if you watch like a podcast that you enjoy, doesn't have to necessarily be sports, but your favorite podcast.
Smartless, Jason Bateman.
I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one. Yeah, the one with Jason Bateman. Yeah.
Do like actors, but it's so chill. It's like this podcast, but like super chill. Like everyone is so like it's so conversational, and it's not like an interview, like Hollywood interview. And you get to learn and become personable with some of the actors, like real stories and relatable. And they're all friends, which is really cool. So it's like they call it Smartless because they think they're all idiots. You know, something to talk about might be, but it's a great podcast. I think it's hilarious.
So one I really like is We Might Be Drunk. It's two comedians, Mark Normand and Sam Morril. Darker type of humor, but they just sit around a bar. They have a bartender make them new drinks each time. So if you like comedy, you like learning about drinks, it's a perfect podcast for you.
What's it called?
Ups and a Girl.
We Might Be Drunk.
Drew, what were you saying? You said you want to do a quick shout out?
It's almost similar to what Ryan just mentioned, man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Drink Champs one by
Yeah,
Noriega.
I was actually going to
The
say
rapper
Drink
Noriega.
Champs.
I like Drink Champs. I like Drink Champs, yeah.
Drink Champs. How can we see?
There you
Yeah,
go,
Drink
man.
Champs
Once
is
that
lit.
liquor gets full and people spill all the beans on there, right?
Oh, really?
I saw that one
Noriega.
episode with that producer, Scott Storch. Yeah, Scott Storch was on there talking about doing cocaine with Mariah Carey. It's like, once
That's
that
lit.
liquor gets in their system, man, they don't hold back. That's
Drink
level.
Champs is a very good podcast.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
I bet you they got some great stories. Man.
Yeah,
Shout out to
so-
Nora, the super thug.
Yeah.
So smart. So you got Smartless and We Might Be Drunk. Avery, what's yours?
I'll give either the Bill Simmons pod or the JJ Redick pod.
JJ Redick's pod is
That's a good
pretty
one.
good. So okay, and the Bill Simmons pod is good, right? Too. JJ
Redick's a big partier. If you guys didn't know about JJ Redick, I mean, he looks pretty clean cut. He looks pretty on the straight and narrow. This dude used to party back at Duke. So much so that Coach K used to let him know, like, you're never going to win a championship. You're partying too much.
Wow, and which he said in his sophomore year, he had to like on that. What's that podcast with the one you were recommending that I subscribed to it, Ryan? With the two dudes, but he was on that.
Take?
Yes, that one.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
and he was on there, and he was like, "Yeah, his sophomore year, he had to like really like focus in because his career would have been drastically altered because he was partying a lot. It was crazy.
Some good stories. If you guys have some time to do some reading,
I literally Googled
see him in
after
a different light.
I was just like, "Wow, national champion! That must have been crazy, man." But Mike, for you, who do you got? Podcast.
I listen to a lot of the Ringer stuff. Bill Simmons
Ringer.
podcast, a lot of the Ringer. I listen to a ton of podcasts. That's actually pretty much all I do. I don't even watch TV much anymore.
Neither do I.
I'm just kind of scrolling through. I listen to a lot of true crime, a lot of sports, some news.
Haley on our drives. Haley likes what's the true crime ones. Like the 2020 ones. Those ones are good when you're
Scary when you are at home alone and you think someone's in the window. Like people who live in the woods in their cottage, like you listen to that stuff, you think someone's gonna come around the corner and like kill you.
I don't trust anybody anymore.
I same here. But I'm the same way. If I'm home alone, I get scared. If I have to make sure the lights are on, I'm admitting it now. I get scared.
Actually,
No,
guys,
I'm joking.
air systems right now, like people are just getting stabbed left, right, and center of Toronto's subway system.
That's crazy. Yeah, and even in New York, it's gone up. It's gone up. Yeah.
And just one more podcast that's a little darker on this time. Have you heard of a podcast called "This Is Actually Happening"?
I don't know if I have.
No, it's real. It's from Wondery. It's really
Is that
good.
on the dark web or the regular web?
No, regular web. It's just it's like a darker side of things. So it's talking to people that have experienced things, and they just had a 5-part series called Point Blank, and it was about interviewing different people of an actual school shooting. So
whoa, what's it called?
Dark.
It is very dark. The podcast itself is called "This Is Actually Happening," and then the sub spin-off of it was called Point Blank. It's 5 episodes, and they interview 5 different people from.
So it's like social justice.
Anyone like the Rogan pod?
It should be a sport on how to
It's
dunk.
good. Yeah, of course. That's like the OG. That's like
Yeah, Rogan has some funny shit on his pod sometimes, man.
Yeah, but since he went to Spotify, I don't really watch it anymore because it's
Yeah,
like
you only get clips on YouTube now.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like the pivot is good. I like Drink Champs.
Drink Champs good.
That one you just told me about, Ryan, with the two dude. I can't remember the name, but that one with the where he did the no. But
what's the one where the two guys keep getting in fights with the girls on that show? Is it the Fit and Fresh one or something like that?
Fit and Fresh.
You heard of that one?
I like Shaq's podcast. Shaq's podcast is really dope. I like.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
2 Bears, 1 Cave.
This is so funny.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Mike.
Two Bears, 1 cave. That's okay.
Actually,
that's Segura, right?
Yeah, that is Segura. And if you guys haven't seen the clip of him going up for the layup, oh my God, he breaks his leg and snaps his arm at the same time.
He was trying to dunk the ball. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I actually seen that guy live like a little while ago.
Oh my God, he's fantastic.
Right. I hate when they replay the injury videos. I hate. It's like do it once, that's it. But they keep doing it from a different angle. Like even that college player that remember when he broke his
the
his
kid
ankle,
that broke his leg.
Oh, that was
Kevin Ware.
Oh, yeah, that was so bad.
Gordon Hayward one from.
I've never broken anything. Thank God.
I broke my arm when I was younger.
Jamal's broken his arm. Yeah,
I broke my collarbone this last year.
Oh damn!
Motorcycle accident.
Are you serious?
Problem now.
You a rotator cuff?
Hopefully, my mom doesn't watch this podcast. She doesn't know.
Wow.
But mom, if you watch this, I got into a motorcycle accident. I didn't fall down the stairs, Mom. I'm telling you now.
Shout out to mom. Shout out to moms.
My mom would watch this and be like, "Why are you talking to 5 men?"
That's so funny.
Just tell her it's Tinder. It's a Tinder app.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Shout out to moms and dads everywhere, man.
You have 5. Pick one.
Let's get into final thoughts. Doesn't have to be sports related. It can be sports related. Jazz, let's start with you and yeah, 60 seconds.
I survived my comedy show tonight, performed at a shisha place. And
congratulations.
Yeah, I went bullet. I didn't know that people at a shisha place would actually smoke shishas, but they did. Anyways, lesson learned, never do that again. Learned a lot about I learned so much from you guys every time I come on this episode.
Ditto.
Yeah, and I get to bring a different perspective. Apparently it's an encyclopedia perspective, so but it's fun. It's fun, and yeah, it's cool just doing this with you guys.
Jazz, genuinely, thank you for hopping on. Like when I saw you here, that's why I sent you the link. I was like, I'm trying to get her back on, so you're here. Thank you so much.
And
much blessings.
If you make it sound like porn, she's in. Apparently.
I really thought it was a porno link for something else or a virus.
That's so funny. Mike, final thoughts.
I'm glad this isn't porn.
I don't have a whole. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad this isn't porn.
But it's called
Drew. Drew, I'm coming to you next.
Lots of sports going on right now. Playoffs, NHL, NBA. I'm still into golf.
Great time of year.
Golf's getting great. Going on a family vacation, 3 weeks.
Wonderful.
Just a lot going on. I don't know.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Where are you guys going?
We're going on a Mediterranean cruise.
What? The Mediterranean, brother?
Yeah. So
is it a cruise ship?
Yeah.
You get to throw balls off the cruise ship and try to hit the whales?
I guess. I don't.
That is sure. That is the one place that I need to go. Like, yeah, Haley and I, we want to go to. That's the next place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we get Drew, before we come to you, most exotic place you want to go travel to? If you could go right now, you could bring a significant other, you could bring a friend, you could bring your parents, like somebody, a friend, whatever. Like, where would you go right now?
I'm going to Bora Bora, man. I've heard good things about Bora Bora.
Nice.
Wow, Avery.
Mike's cruise.
That's really good. Ryan,
you don't even know where I'm going.
I'm going to Thailand.
Yeah, the Mediterranean.
There we go. Thailand.
Thailand is awesome.
Wow.
Yo, man, Thailand's lit.
I spent a month there, Thailand and Cambodia in 2019 before COVID.
South Africa.
I was there 2018.
I'm picking South Africa.
Lit.
Yeah, I'm picking South Africa.
I want to go to Bali. I haven't been to Bali yet.
Drew, final thoughts. 60 seconds.
My final thoughts are, first, I'm going to do a shameless plug for myself. I had an episode I recently filmed of the Mayday air crashes investigations.
I remember when you booked it, and I remember when you filmed it. Congrats.
You do, yeah. About a year ago, man. It takes that long for someone to actually get on the air. But I play an investigator from Papua New Guinea investigating why a plane crashed, and it was carrying a bunch of parents on a visit for graduation. So it's a tragic story, and I kind of get to the bottom of why the plane went down. So check that out if you get a chance. I also want to give a quick shout out to Russell Westbrook, man. I'm happy he's off the Lakers, but he did show me a lot last night that it doesn't matter how much shit people talk about you, how bad people drag your name. If you just stay focused and keep that foot to the ground, you can actually accomplish something, man. He hit some big free throws down the stretch, and I'm no longer going to refer to him as Russell Westbrook. Going forward, I will refer to him only as Mr. Westbrook from now on.
What? And he said Mr. Tibbs. Wonderful final thoughts. Loved it. Who's next?
I'll go. My final thoughts are for the hackers out there. Let me give you guys' email. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be sending her any links. Be nice.
I'll click on them thinking that I won't get a virus on my phone.
That's so. I like how you circled back to that.
But no, my final thoughts around about 10 days. NFL draft starts, and you guys know I'm an American. Love me some NFL football.
Wow.
Number one pick is up for debate between Bryce Young. He's the Heisman winner at Alabama, the powerhouse there, and my Ohio State boy, CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud was the favorite early last week, and now Bryce Young has soared past him. So I think there's some value in CJ Stroud, but it's always good to see what the betting odds change going into the week of the draft. So just over 10 days away. If we get another podcast in before then, I'll give an update on my final thoughts. But as of right now, I think the Panthers are making a dumb mistake not taking the Ohio State boy.
Wow.
You can cut this part out, but I was going to say that if the sports people want to capitalize on anything, the sports players should partner with Pornhub and make a series just through there.
Jesus.
They'll make money.
What do you mean?
Talking about?
Tristan Thompson could lead that.
Oh, bad.
Jordan.
And flush
about like a Ray J series, or are we
no, but
sorry, Nick Cannon.
Do a series like that? They tried to do that, didn't
they could just call it the basketballs, the home runs.
But
series,
that's hilarious. But
didn't Nick Cannon literally do this recently? Like, didn't he do
Phoenix Suns do this?
No, didn't Bang Bros want to buy the Miami Stadium or something? They put up.
I heard that. When I heard that, I was like, "If this
it's just not going to work because it's like a family thing." So I know, but that's why. That's why they probably.
I wish it happened.
You know Yeah. All right. So final thoughts. I'm gonna go into it. Here we go. 60 seconds. Thank you everyone for coming on the podcast. I don't know. Now I'm on the spot. It doesn't have to be sports. All right. So I'm flying to LA tomorrow. I'm gonna get some R&R. I'm gonna chill out. And
what's R&R?
Just relaxing, resting. What is R&R? Good question.
Rest and relax.
Rest and relax. There we go. There we go. God damn it, Mike! I knew what it was. I just couldn't remember on the spot.
Did you?
I maybe that was one of the things that I never. Anyways, so surname is another thing that I always forget. I'm like, surname, is that the last name? So, but I know it's the last name. But listen, I'm just talking shit right now. I have nothing to say, and that's my 60 seconds. Again, shout outs to Franklin in the cut. Shout outs to Jamal in Jamaica. Shout outs to everybody watching. We are working hard to bring you a great season 2 and amazing podcast. So hopefully, the audience is going to say that their favorite podcast is this one.
My final thoughts are, even though Sacramento won the first game, and I'm not really sure the score of this game right now because my TV won't turn the fuck back on, but I'm hoping Golden State will win this game. They will win the series. I think they win in 7. My prediction for the finals, Phoenix is still going to the show, even though everyone wants to see LA. Phoenix is going to the show. My boy CP3 is somehow pulling out Finals MVP. I'm sticking to that shit. It's gonna be Phoenix and Philly. I think that Milwaukee is already looking like they're choking slightly. Jazz is getting out of her car as I'm doing my final thoughts. So, if she didn't live in her car, we wouldn't have to deal with this sort of situation right now. But I don't. But it's okay, The playoffs have been lit so far. I think that the first round in almost every series actually looks good and exciting, other than I don't know, no one really cares about Minnesota, let's be honest. Fuck those guys. But everybody else, it's nice.
Even talk about Rudy Gobert and that whole thing that happened.
Yeah, no one cares. Rudy Gobert's a scrub. Fucking Karl-Anthony Towns been overrated since he came to the league. Anthony Edwards probably gonna pull some James Harden shit and just buy a strip club and just live at the strip club. And yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Below the Rim Podcast.
All right, guys.
Have a good night. And we love you.
Yeah, peace, people. Keep it real. Yeah, stay safe. Lock the doors.
I will be fine. Bye.